Enchash Nanaktushin Kukushan Ulkan Statnim Kan Uchamiuch Shamachquachich Tanina Williams. I just want to talk about some of the things that we've been focusing on from the 6 principles of the learning that we have committed to valuing our own expertise and considering how it helps the entire community beyond ourselves, to teach oneself, to prepare oneself for listening and learning. How teachers help us to locate the infinite capacity we all have as learners, developing one's own personal gifts and expertise in a holistic, respectful balance. So we've been working on this principle to in our schools for since Roberta was at our school, and I think we've done really well at learning this principle, and I think that being able to become a community at our school, to value ourselves and how to value our own abilities and how that helps the entire community. I was just talking to Fran about one of our students and how she's just amazing at setting her mind to something and working at it, and you wouldn't even ever have to worry about I want to share this part. She's my little cousin, and she's named after my grandmother, her great-grandmother. And in our family, in our theme in our family is you are meant to work hard from morning till night. That's what we're built for. That's how we think. Hard work is important. Being productive and contribution, and she shows this contribution and this expertise in her life already. She can make bannock, and she can cook it, make her own batch, cook it all, and deliver it. And she is very methodical already. And you see this expertise, and she takes that on it's very important. And that's how she can contribute. And that's a really amazing skill, because we're seeing that she's a hard worker. We're seeing that you give her the direction she needs, and she will find a system. She will execute the system, and she will complete the system. And she could reproduce that in a small batch, and she could probably produce it in a bigger way if we let her, right? And so as teachers, when we're seeing those expertise, the reason why I said if we let her, this part is the hard part for when we think of ourselves as the teacher. Oh, we will allow this, right? That's holding back. That's holding the learner back. What if we turned ourselves into the learner of this student and said, this is what I've learned. This is what I've witnessed in this person. Instead of saying, if we let her, what if we just said, I'll let myself witness what this learner's expertise is. At least that's how I understand it. I don't want to, I want you to understand this is how I'm working it out of my brain, and it's important, because as someone who has a learning disability, and also somebody who is ingrained in a very cultural way, I felt ashamed when people, oh, you're so smart. Oh my gosh, you're so smart. It was almost like they were shocked or surprised that I was capable, because it was a little bit over the top, but if we just witness and we appreciate, and we just say thank you, how much further would that go? Because I'm saying this because, and I hope you would have watched or listened to the YouTube video I put on this link, Education as Destruction, Education as Healing, by Professor Emeritus Dr. Lorna Winnasat Williams. And so that gets me to thinking about Emháka7, our principle that we're going to be focusing on this year. That doesn't mean we leave at Ha'ul. It means that we're focusing on this Emháka7, encouraging each of us to do the best we can at each task given to us. Watch this video. It's an hour and 27 minutes long, and I just mentioned it, Education as Destruction, Education as Healing. But if not, there's she specifically talks about the principles at 57 minutes and 22 seconds to 1 hour 5 minutes and 30 seconds. I also plugged in here Emháka7 from the Finesse math curriculum. Emháka7, each person does the best she or he can at whatever the task, and keeps an eye on others to be helpful. The concept also means to work respectfully with good thoughts and good hands. If we're focusing on ourselves and only ourselves, it becomes very individualistic, and it becomes a competition. It can become a competition, and that becomes harmful education. But if we work, if we do our work, and we are also helpful in ways to just be able to help and to see when people need help, and to do that with good intention, to be kind in it, and to work with our hands in a good way, to be thoughtful. And like I was talking about my little cousin who made bannock. She made a batch of bannock for us for the pit cook and klokcha celebration we had, and she says, I made these, and these are for you and for our guests, and if you need me to, I will make more. Oh, so beautiful, right? What can this look like in our classes and school this year? And I shared the Harvest Pit cook and clock chat video on this platform here, and then what kind of data can we collect to see if we are understanding the practices in this. So that's why I really want you to to watch the video I sent about education as destruction, education as healing, because I want you to think about it through that data. And we've done the plank drums last year. We did 2 plank drums last year. It was a big learning for us. We learned many things. We learned that the rocks couldn't get hot enough in a barbecuer. That was so funny. And then we learned that actually the rock system did work when we heated them in the fire, but it was still a slow process. Then we drilled some holes into the beams, and that seemed to like help the airflow because we need air, but it still wasn't fast enough. Then we learned also that if we used pieces of the wood from the fire and put it right on the plank and sandwiched, and when we sandwiched that, the plank, the little kindlings that were burning, that worked really well. So those are some of the learnings. I've watched many videos on this, and I have some other things that we could do that will be set up prior to you actually working on the planks, so that we don't have to go through all that learning again. There's other things, so we've done some learning, but when we're making these plank drums, we're learning 2 different concepts of learning, or not concepts, but 2 different avenues of learning, I guess. So plank drums in the past would have been a hollowed out log, but I thought, well, instead of getting a hollowed out log for a plank drum, why don't we learn about making a dugout burnt canoe in that process? So, doing a dugout canoe is a big process, but we can hollow out a beam, and that way we're learning about combustion, and we're learning about how that process is to making a dugout canoe. So what does that look like? What are we learning about this? What does, what's the concept of time in it? And and we're experimenting, right? We're taking bits of information from the past and trying to complete that and what it looks like for our school. So we're learning about dugout canoes, and we're learning about plank drums. And plank drums were definitely a little wet way of being. We didn't use hide drums. That's a prairie style drum. And also we used, you'll see, I shared a video about using a plank drums while playing the bone game. So then this reaches out into what I hope we'll do is start learning about how to play the bone game, and what does that look like, and that future learning. So I'll share some videos about some of the bone games that I love to watch, or I would love to see on YouTube. And I'm super excited about this, and really encourage you to watch that video by Dr. Lorna Williams. We're exactly on that path. So thank you so much.